K-State Eats. I'm Tristan and I'm here with Ashton from ASU-N. Tell me a little bit about what you're cooking today.
Okay, so today we're going to make a flank steak taco and we're going to put it on a bed of tri-colored couscous.
Oh.
Okay, so we're going to start with mixing our spices together. We've got a little bit of ancho chili powder, a little bit of ground cumin, paprika, and sweetened cocoa powder, salt and pepper, cinnamon, and granulated garlic. So we're just going to mix all of that together, make sure it's really well blended. And this is what we're going to put on top of our steak.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm just going to turn this on. This has got about a tablespoon or two of oil in it. So we're just going to let that heat up. We're going to take our flank steak and we're going to season it.
I was going to ask you what kind of steak you were using.
Yes, it's a flank steak.
Why do you use flank steak rather than other
it just has a little bit more tender of a cut, and I'm going to slice it really thin so that it'll go well on the taco, and it won't be so tough on the taco. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just season it on both sides really well. And you want to make sure to use all of that seasoning so that it soaks in there really well and gives it a really nice flavor profile. Once our oil is heated up, we're going to go ahead and just sear it, probably about 2 to 3 minutes on each side so that it gets a good medium to medium rare temp in it.
Would it be tough if you cooked it all the way well done?
Probably would, yes. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start our plating as well. And I've already prepared some tri-colored couscous, which is kind of like a blend between a pasta and a rice. And that's going to go down on the bottom of the plate. And this is what we're going to put our tacos on top of.
Why did you choose couscous?
I chose the couscous, number one, because the look. I really like the yellow and orange color. It gives it a nice color.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a bland flavor so that it doesn't take away from my taco flavors, because I want you to really taste the flavors in the taco.
So what's all in this? Is it just plain?
It's just plain. I just put water in it, and I got the water really hot and boiling, and then just turned off the heat and just let it sit in here for a couple of minutes, and it really softened up. So then over here I have a pico, which is a tomato, a red onion, a jalapeno, and then I sprinkled some lime juice in it.
Sounds good.
And then we have our arugula, and that's what's going to go down on our taco underneath our meat.
What kind of tortilla is this?
This is a pita bread tortilla.
Why did you choose pita bread instead of a traditional tortilla?
If you can tell, it's a little bit thicker, so it kind of holds it together better and doesn't get soggy like a regular tortilla would.
Okay.
So we're just going to lay that there. And we're going to go ahead and put down just a little bit of arugula. You don't want a whole lot. You just want enough that you can really get the good crunch from it. So I would say just about a pinch.
Okay. It seems like a fairly quick dinner if you were a busy person.
Yes, it is. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and flip my steak over. So it's got a really nice crust on that side. And we're just going to continue to let that cook. So in the blender, I made up a lime dressing to go on top of the tacos, and it has about a cup of sour cream, about 1/4 of a cup of cilantro, and then I squeezed the entire lime into it and just blended it together really well. And we're going to dollop that on top of the taco.
Sounds great.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and check this taco, or this steak, and see what the temp is. Okay, so it looks really nice on the inside. If you can tell, it's kind of got a warm pink center. I would say that's probably a medium rare to a rare, so I'm going to put it back on for just another minute. Okay, and while that's continuing to cook, I'm going to go ahead and cut up my avocado. And the avocado we're just going to kind of use as a garnish on the plate to give it a nice green color.
Yeah, avocado goes good with just about everything.
Yes, it does. It's one of my absolute favorites.
I could never figure out how to cut them properly.
So an avocado has a pit in it, and so I just like to cut around it, and then I just take my fingers and kind of pop that pit out. And then you just slice it however you'd like. And today we're going to just make little slices out of it.
Yeah, my dad will make that sometimes, and he'll hit the pit with the knife. I'm like, that seems dangerous.
Everybody kind of has their own way.
Yeah.
And then we're just going to peel that skin off. I'm just going to give it a little slice. We want it to be nice and thin so that it'll be really good and tender on the taco.
It looks great.
Thank you. And we're just going to put a couple of slices on each one. Change my gloves again. And then we're going to put a little bit of cilantro on top of it. I'm sorry, not cilantro, pico on top of it.
Pico kind of adds that freshness to the meat.
Yes, it does. And we're just going to put just another little pinch on there. I'd probably say just a spoonful on each one. Okay, and this is my favorite part. We're going to take these little skewers and kind of almost make like a little taco holder out of them.
I really enjoy food more when it looks pretty.
Yes. Everybody that you eat with your eyes first, so presentation is key. So we're just going to stick this through the middle of it, and it's going to hold these tacos together. Garnish it with some of our avocado slices. We're going to take our lime dressing and just dollop it on top. Alright, then we're going to take a lime. I'm just going to roll it out. We roll it out like this so that it's you can squeeze it easier when you squeeze the juice out of it.
More comes out.
Yes. So we're just going to give it a nice squeeze. Going to cut it in half. Just going to squeeze some juice on top. And there you have a flank steak taco.
Awesome. It looks great. Thank you so much for cooking for us today, Ashton. It looks fantastic. Join us next time on another episode of A-State Eats. Hi, welcome to A-State Eats. I'm Tristan and I'm here with Ashton. And tell me what we're going to be cooking today.
Okay, so today we're going to be making a summer salad and we're going to make our own balsamic vinaigrette.
Oh, exciting. All right, so show me how we're going to put this together.
Okay, so I've already started and I've just washed up some fresh spinach here. You really can just make as much as you want if you want to just make, one for yourself, one for your family, a crowd. So you're just going to wash up some fresh spinach and we're going to throw in about a cup of pecans. Just going to throw in about a half a cup of raisins, and really you can really just make your own recipe up. But these are just some of my favorites. We're going to toss in some tomatoes. I'm going to peel a cucumber and slice it up.
It has a really fresh vegetable. It's like very summery. Why did you choose spinach instead of like iceberg lettuce?
Just my own personal preference. You can use iceberg lettuce if you would prefer. It's just kind of whatever your own preference is.
My favorite spinach, so I was real happy when I seen it.
So we're just going to slice up some cucumber. Just throw those slices in there. Slice up a little more.
And this is good for like parties, or you could cook with your kids.
Oh yeah, definitely. Super easy and quick.
Yeah.
So we're going to put in a red onion, and I've already sliced it in half, and I'm just going to take that peeling off and just make a couple of slices out of it.
Do you ever get used to slicing onions and crying?
Not really. I've tried every trick in the book, but none of them really seem to work. So you just put in, you really just put in about however much you like for your own personal preference on that. Not everybody likes red tomato because they're kind of strong.
Yeah. So pretty, all the colors.
So we're going to put in some mandarin oranges as well that I've already drained. And you could probably substitute this with mangoes or bell peppers or just any kind of fruit or vegetable that you prefer.
Why would you add fruit to a salad?
It just gives it a really nice fresh taste, and it gives it so that it has maybe some sweet flavors in it. You could do strawberries. You could pretty much do whatever kind of fruit that you would like. So we're going to add in some avocado as well.
How do you choose the produce for a salad? Because I know it needs to be like at its peak freshness to really taste the best.
Right. So we'll do an avocado, for example. I try to choose the avocados that aren't extremely soft. I try to pick a little bit more firm ones. You don't want them to be too firm because then you can't cut them. They're kind of difficult to cut. But I try to just pick that medium, in between that medium and soft firmness.
Yeah, the worst thing is to cut into an avocado and it's brown.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nobody likes brown avocado. So I'm just going to cut up some slices, just some chunks. Put some fresh avocado in there. And salad is a super easy recipe that you can really change it to whatever in the world you like.
So, how did you get into cooking, and why do you love it so much, or choose to be a chef?
Well, when I was younger, my first job was working at a restaurant, and the atmosphere was just wonderful. I mean, it was they were always so happy and upbeat and outgoing, and I just thought to myself, like, wow, this is something I really want to be involved in. I want to make people happy, and I want to, be the reason that there's smiles on people's faces.
Yeah, food really brings people together.
Yes.
It's very cultural. So, what are your plans after you finish school here?
Well, I recently just purchased my own business, so.
I'm gonna ask you that question.
Okay, let me change my gloves too while we're at a break.
What did I say? Plans after school.
Yeah. Okay.
I like fakely chop something. So, what are your plans after school?
So I recently just purchased my own business. It's called The Teapot. It's in Jonesboro, Arkansas. And we do soups, salads, sandwiches. You can come in and we have a store and you can buy like candies and jams and spices. So that's where I'm going to be when I'm finished with school.
That sounds awesome. So, where is it located in Jonesboro?
It's located just off of Parker Road, right next to the Walmart.
Okay. I'll have to go visit.
Yes, absolutely. So now we're going to make our own dressing. And we've got just a little bit of olive oil in here. I'd probably say that's about a tablespoon and a half worth. And then we're just going to pour some balsamic vinegar in it. Not very much at all. It's probably about 2 to 3 tablespoons. And it doesn't really matter what brand, just your own personal preference on that. We're going to just give that a quick shake. We're going to pour it over the salad.
It looks so good.
All right, then I'm gonna crush some salt and pepper over it. Then we're just gonna give it a quick toss.
Is there ever a trick to tossing salad to get a good taste?
Some people use their hands, some people will use tongs, and I personally like to just put it in a tub and put the lid on it and kind of give it a good shake.
Yeah.
Okay.
It smells great.
Thank you. Let me make sure we get all of those goodies in there. It's got lots of color to it. I'm going to put us some saltine crackers on the side, and there you have a summer salad.
Awesome. I'll be glad when it gets more.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for cooking for us. I'm really excited to try this. And thank you for watching A-State Eats, and we'll see you at the next episode. Welcome back to A-State Eats. I'm here with Dylan, and today tell me about what you're going to be making for us.
Today I'm just going to be making some sauteed strip loin, just seasoned with simple herbs and spices, along with some sauteed vegetables.
Awesome.
It's nothing really special, but all right, let me just start.
Yep, go ahead.
Well, just going to take about 2 tablespoons of butter.
That's a lot of butter.
Oh yeah, well, got to get through all the steak, so.
Yeah.
Then turn your butane burner on, and just let that heat up.
And what kind of steak is that again?
It's just strip loin.
Why do you use that?
Well, it ends up being a lot leaner. Like it's the same meat they use for roast beef after they smoke it and everything. So it just ends up being a lot leaner. And while it doesn't hold as much flavor, it's still just a good piece. It's I guess reliable because you can use it for a lot of things.
Okay.
It's flexible. Yeah, it is a lot of butter, isn't it?
So, why did you want to start cooking?
Really don't know. I mean, I just helped my mom and my grandma when I was younger, and I just learned a lot and picked up on it, and it was something that I guess I felt came naturally to me, so I just did it all the time. So I'd help my mom and my grandma cook all the time, and I just started to like it. And really, it wasn't at first what I thought I'd see myself doing in the long run, but come 11th grade year, I needed an extra class, so I elected to take Votech, and I took culinary because I already knew I was good at it. And the instructor there, Mr. Johnson, he really taught us and everything. We ended up going to skills competition, and me and Brian, wherever he is, Brian, placed in a state competition, and our entire team swept the board. And so I think that's when I decided I wanted to do it. Yeah, wow. We're just gonna be seasoning it with simple things: rosemary, garlic, some oregano, and salt and black pepper. Like just nothing too much.
So you season the steak first and then cook it?
Well, because some of this will kind of just burn on there, but it'll also just give the flavor too. And I guess it's more or less an optional thing if you want to put some on afterwards, but I never really did.
Does it help kind of enhance the flavors in the meat if you cook it?
A bit. But yeah, you're not going to be able to taste as much if you season it afterwards.
Yeah.
It'll be just a bit too much. I'll just put that in there with those. So we're going to saute that next anyways. And there we go. So how do you guys like these?
Just however you think. You're the chef.
Yeah, but y'all are the ones eating them, so it's whatever you guys like.
What tastes the best? What do you prefer?
I would never go past medium rare.
We can do medium.
All right. Now we just play the waiting game, I guess.
Yeah. How long will it take to cook these steaks?
It depends on usually the cut of meat, how thick it is, and just what rarity you want it at. So medium rare shouldn't take us like longer than maybe 2-3 minutes on each side. So, but yeah, there's that. And then the vegetables I am sauteing is just going to be some mushrooms, Nobody has any mushroom allergies, do they?
No.
Okay, so I don't want to like kill anyone.
We're
That'd be
good.
that'd be okay. Squash and tomato. So
Do
nothing.
they pair well with steak, do you think?
They're both. All of those are like lighter type vegetables, so they usually do pair with steak because when you're like putting something with a side, you don't want the side to outshine the main dish.
Yeah.
So you use lighter stuff on the side as opposed to the steak that has a strong flavor. So yeah, I think they'll do good.
They look great.
Oh, thank you. We won't be seasoning the vegetables. Usually I just salt and pepper them, but it's such little flavor that it would just end up tasting salty or peppery, that I really wouldn't have any.
So there's no spices on the vegetables?
Like some you would salt and pepper, like when you go to saute, but it's just these, they're already so light that if I were to salt and pepper them, you would only taste salt and pepper and not the vegetable really.
Yeah, I've cooked mushrooms before and they tend to take on the flavor of whatever,
Yeah.
you cook with them.
Mushrooms are just a real flexible one. They're hard to like overcook. Like you really can't cook them to the point where they're mushy or anything. And so they just really pair well with things. I mean, you can generally learn to eye it, but you can also touch it for the firmness. But there's a general trick of to see how firm a steak is. So like a rare steak, you can take your pinky and fold it and touch right here, and then going up accordingly. So it's a pretty neato trick. Oop. Hey, that's good.
That looks awesome.
Thank you.
Did you come back and that's what I was just about to ask if you came
Yeah.
back.
It's just because the butter will usually help the steak keep moist and it will help it retain everything on the surface. So it'll really help with the flavors on that.
Yeah.
And now you can already smell the herbs cooking. So
It smells great.
thank you.
So how long have you been here in this program?
I am actually, this has only been my second semester, so I started in the fall of last year.
Wow.
But I like the program. Chef really pushes us. Like one of those things where like you're teaching a kid to swim, so you just throw them in the pool, hope they kind of swim. It's kind of like that because if you're willing to learn, as much as you're willing to learn, Chef is willing to give. So if you really, really want it, Chef will really, really teach you and give it. So,
What has been your most challenging recipe that you've done so far?
I suppose that would probably be the food we had to prepare at skills competition. Not that it was in any way like a hard dish. Like if I were at home or in here preparing it, it wouldn't be hard.
Yeah.
But it was just the restrictions and the time restrictions because we could only start on certain things at certain times.
Oh wow.
So example being we had to make a rice pilaf, which is just rice sauteed in a pan and then cooked with juices and baked. Well, we couldn't start it earlier. We had to do it within our certain time frame because they wouldn't let us cook our chicken stock till a certain time, and that's an essential part of it. So I'd say that was the most challenging, but due just to the time. And it was. But overall, we had a pretty good time. Brian actually went to nationals. He'll be going again to nationals this year.
That's awesome.
And
Did y'all start the program together here? Or?
yeah, we graduated at the same high school together and went to Votech for the last year together.
It's always good to have a friend.
Yeah. We're constantly pushing each other, being competitive.
Yeah. I'm pretty competitive, so it helps me when I have somebody that's good.
Oh yeah, I think a little competitiveness can help everyone do everything a little better. Yeah, that will be about good. So y'all said medium rare. Good for y'all.
Fine.
You good with medium rare? You good? All right. Oops.
So do you let the steak rest before you cut into it, or do you?
I
just go
do.
right away?
I mean, well, it just depends on how hungry I am sometimes, I guess. But yeah, usually I'll let it set. So like I'll just set it now while we are sauteing the vegetables. But yeah, generally letting it rest just gives you a better flavor most of the time.
How much butter did you put in the pan?
That'll probably be about 1.5 tablespoons. So, but most of it's just gonna get soaked up by these vegetables anyways. But
the flavors from the steak will help.
yeah. Well, that's what we're hoping for.
Yeah.
Do.
Can you tell me again what kind of vegetables we're sauteing?
So today we're going to be using squash, tomatoes, and I believe shiitake mushrooms.
I've never cooked tomatoes like this before. Does it help add flavor or anything?
Depends on like what you cook it with, but tomato is just one of the vegetables that'll usually hold its flavor really well, and it doesn't really absorb other flavors. While squash and mushroom usually take on the flavors of what it is, but tomato just usually just sticks to its own thing. Because you don't want a layer of cooked vegetables and layer of weird raw vegetables, so that'd probably be kind of nasty.
That would be pretty bad.
Like cooking like something in the microwave and then you get a hot bowl and then a cold bowl of whatever the hell it is. Yeah, those are the things that ruin my day right there.
So, what's the key to cooking them evenly? Just keeping them stirred? Or?
We're not keeping them stirred, just trying to keep it like an even layer. So like you don't want like a thick layer or anything like that, because then the vegetables on top aren't going to cook.
Yeah.
So you just want to try to keep them evenly spaced out so everything cooks instead of just one layer or so. Because it's not like you're steaming them, and it's not like well, at this point we're not cooking them with like oil or anything, we're just using butter.
Yeah.
And butter just doesn't get as hot as oil will, so it won't like, in any way cook it fast enough. So but using butter usually helps it retain a lot of flavor better rather than using olive oil or canola oil.
Yeah. So are you specializing in any particular kind of area of food?
Nah, I think I just want to learn it all. Like I don't think there's any kind of ethnic food or just any kind of food area in general that I want to specifically specialize in. Like I'm not good at baking. I want to get better, but like I don't want to, just specialize in baking.
Yeah.
And I don't want to specialize in just like cooking either. Like I just want to keep my options open. So. All right.
So how do you know when the vegetables are done cooking?
It's more or less a by sight thing, but just when they start crisping up, having an outer layer, like you can see that starting to turn just a bit brown. It's taking on that butter easily. The tomatoes are getting really, really soft. And the mushrooms are usually gonna, since they were pre-cut, are usually gonna stay just about like the same consistency. Like just I said earlier, mushrooms are they're really hard to overcook or get mushy.
Yeah.
So you just want to look for just general starting to crisp at the edges and starting to soften into whatever you want.
So there's no specific time limit or like time frame?
It really depends on how much you have, how big your pan is, whether you're cooking it with oil or butter, or it's a lot of things determine it, but it's just, I guess, one of the things that you get used to as you go along in this.
So what temperature do you think you should leave the pan on? Because if you turn it on high, it might be really bad.
I would say this is on medium-high heat, because cooking on high heat will just burn it too quickly, and cooking on medium heat, you won't get any kind of crisp or absorption. It'll just more or less just kind of make it warm, I guess, but it won't really cook. Yeah, the vegetables after they get done cooking should be at least about 165, just to make sure everything's all cooked.
vegetables are kind of more of a guessing game than meat, do you think?
Yeah, because if you put vegetables in a steamer or saute them, they don't brown up and crisp up like how meat does, but they do start to brown. And sometimes you can't tell if that's just the sauce you got in there, or if it's just the butter browning up, or if it's the vegetable browning up. So it's just kind of a experience and by sight thing. So it is a I guess risky game trying to make good sauteed vegetables.
I'm excited to see how it turns out. It looks good.
Well, I'm starting to think these are just about done. We just got our steaks here, and those have been sitting a while, so they should be good and tender, hopefully. But strip loin is a tricky piece of meat, so.
Yeah. Looks awesome.
Thank you. And do you all want sauteed vegetables?
Yeah, it's fine. Go ahead.
All right. Just making sure. Don't want to give y'all nothing y'all didn't want or anything.
Yeah. Is there any trick to plating to like make it look fancy?
Just generally just being careful is probably the most thing. Because, you know, if I take this and just in a rush sling it over there, I'm probably going to sling oil and vegetable everywhere.
Yeah.
That and keeping plenty of napkins on you, because you can use your napkins to wipe off the sides real easily. And then just overall, I guess reducing, I guess the messiness of what you're using. So, you know, a sauce is probably going to be a lot harder to keep neat than a steak or anything like that.
All right, thank you so much for cooking for us today. We really appreciate it, and come back for another episode of A-State Eats. All right, welcome back to A-State Eats. I'm here with Ashton, and what are we making today?
Today we're making chicken and waffles.
Awesome.
So I've already cut up my chicken. You can get an 8-piece or a 9-piece. So for what I have here would be an 8-piece. You get 2 thighs, 2 drumsticks, the rib meat, the breast, and your little tenderloin here.
What's the best? Is it better to use like the thigh meat or the breast meat? Because sometimes breast meat can be drier.
It's just really your preference, because part of the meat is dark and part of the meat's white, so it just really depends if you like white or dark meat. So I'm just going to cut my pieces of meat into a little bit thinner strips, just so they cook a little quicker. Some people leave their bones. I prefer not to. So what I have here is an egg wash, and it's just eggs that I've mixed with milk, and I've just whisked it until it was all pretty good and mixed together, and that's what's going to keep the flour, the breading on our chicken. And in my flour I have a little bit of Tony's Creole seasoning and some Cajun seasoning and some white pepper.
I use Tony's seasoning all the time at home.
It's really good. It goes good on everything. So we're just going to put our chicken in the egg wash.
Do you double batter it, or you just do it once?
You can. I only do it once. I just make sure I get it really good and coated.
So will this be like more of a crispy kind of chicken? Or
yes, it'll be crispy. And then once we get it good and coated, we're going to take it over to the fryer and fry it for about 8 to 10 minutes. Once you pull it out, you're going to want to temp it, and when it temps, it needs to be at least 165 for 15 seconds.
Okay. Is that how you know it's done?
Yes, that's how you know it's done.
Yeah, I always like burn my chicken because I never know when it's done.
You definitely want to make sure it's done instead of underdone.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just going to take our chicken, we're going to go over here to the fryer. So now we're going to put our chicken in the fryer. And when you put it in there, you're going to make sure it's not touching so that it doesn't stick together when it fries. You want to try to make sure you shake off some of that excess flour. And we're just going to drop it in there for about 8 to 10 minutes.
While the chicken is frying, we're here with Heather, and she's going to help us make some waffles to go with it. So tell us how you're going to do this.
Okay, first I have my waffle batter, and I'm going to add 2/3 a cup of milk, 1 egg, and 2 tablespoons of oil. I'm going to mix this together. And one thing, you want to make sure you don't overmix the batter, or your waffle is going to be really chewy and not fluffy and awesome like you want it to be.
Yeah. So when do you know when to like stop mixing?
You just look at the batter and you want to get all the real big lumps out, but if there are some smaller lumps, that is no problem, because they will dissipate once you put it in the waffle maker.
All right.
So this is pretty good right here. Okay. And because we can,
Yeah.
I'm gonna kick it up a little bit and add some M&Ms.
Yeah, I love M&Ms. It helps with the whole sweet and savory aspect.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'll just mix these in. Okay. And now I'm gonna spray my waffle maker, because that would be sad if it stuck and we
Yeah.
couldn't eat it.
Very sad.
You want to make sure you don't overfill, because it will spill out and make a huge mess.
Yeah, I've done that plenty of times. It's embarrassing when you're in a hotel and your whole waffle falls out of the waffle maker. I've been there, done that.
Well, I have too, so don't feel bad. I overfilled mine earlier today, so it happens to all of us. And then you just flip it and wait.
All right. How long does it usually take?
It takes a couple of minutes.
Okay. All right, our chicken's done, and Ashton has joined us, and she's going to plate it up for us. So just show us how you're going to do this.
Okay, so we're going to make sure we temp our chicken out. We want to make sure, like I said, it's at 165. So as you can see, it's already well over. It's already at 179, and it's just steadily going up.
Okay.
So it's plenty done. So we're going to take our waffle, split it in half.
You're going to make like a waffle sandwich, maybe? Make it fancy.
Just going to try to make it look pretty.
Yeah.
Take a piece of our chicken. Now, this is just powdered sugar. We're going to sprinkle some powdered sugar over it just to give it that extra sweetness.
Looks awesome.
And we'll let Heather pour the syrup on it.
The ultimate sweet and savory comfort food.
Absolutely.
Wow. Thank you for joining us today and cooking us this amazing looking meal. Join us next time at A State Eats.